2. I'm Tony here with our college football pick show here for Tuesday. We're going to do this week's week 9 in 6 parts. There's 60 games, FBS versus FBS. We'll get 10 done a day here. We'll get both on this show. We'll get both Tuesday games plus 8 for Saturday. Before we get underway, just a couple things. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Free college football picks are updated all season long. Free picks every day from all the major sports. We also have NBA, we have NFL, we have college football, NHL, and more. It is a good time to subscribe. And also, if you would, support our channel with a thumbs up. We greatly appreciate it. Then visit Tony'sPicks.com. We are a multi-capper site showcasing top cappers in our industry. Click the links to the hot cappers. Get signed up to long-term passes. As you can see, some of our hot guys up there, like Collins has been hot. We've got, as well, Steam Team, Mindy. We've got Ramon who's been doing great work. Click the links, get signed up to some of their long-term passes. Of course, you'll find the latest premium picks in the center of our page, along with our best bets, our $15 premium pick. Each capper can designate one of their picks from their card as a $15 premium pick to showcase their service. Best bets, as we mentioned, each capper can designate one best bet per sport, so you'll see more than one up there because the handicappers handicap more than one sport. So plenty of best bets up on the site, as well as our 3-packs, which are very popular for people that, well, a lot of the big players like the 3-packs. So we have 3-packs, one of our best sellers as well. And of course, I want to make note to our pick ticker. You can find our pick ticker here at the center if you're shopping for individual plays. And guess what? We have a late Steam play right now as we're filming live. And these are picks that our cappers can release between 10 minutes and 2 hours before game time. They should hit a higher percentage. You can buy these individually or on the long-term passes. These will be included in your package. And if you do subscribe to a long-term pass and the capper does release a late Steam, you'll get an email notification of that pick in your email box. Only the late Steam we email. We don't want to flood your email. Just with the late Steam will you get those emails. Also, our promo code, you can save 20% off all premium pick packages. When you use that promo code TonyT at checkout, you can access our page by clicking the link in the description, clicking the All Cappers tab, and get signed up. Also, love to hear from you guys, so post your picks in the comments below. We are looking for cappers, so you can apply at our site. At the bottom of the site, you'll find the application form. And, of course, our podcast. Every pick in podcast form available on all major platforms. Just search Tony's Picks. All right, let's get this one started. Ball State versus Kent college football pick. This one goes off here on Tuesday. Ball State moved to 4-4 with their 20-16 home defeat to Eastern Michigan. Cardinals gained 292 yards in that one with 114 rushing on 34 carries. Defensively, they held the Eagles to 3 yards per rush with 197 passing on 34 attempts. John Paddock completed about 58% of his passes, 6.8 yards per attempt. He had 2 touchdowns and 2 picks on the season. Paddock, 61% completion rate, 6.1 yards per attempt. Kent, a mark of 3-5 after their 33-27 home win to Akron. Golden Flashes produced 455 yards, 242 on the ground on 39 carries. On defense, they limited the Zips to under 3 yards per rush with 383 yards passing on 43 attempts. Colin Sclee is questionable with an injury after missing the Akron game. The season date, Sclee, 60% completion rate, 8.6 yards per attempt. Devin Cargman completed 56% in the game as he was summoned in. 2 touchdowns, 8.5 yards per attempt. The freshman this season completing 51% with 7 yards per attempt. Golden Flashes have failed to cover 4 straight. Kent pass defense has struggled this season, giving up 288 yards a game, 69% completion rate, 9.1 yards per attempt. Play here will be Ball State plus 6.5. Buffalo versus Ohio college football pick Tuesday. Buffalo improved to 5-3 after their 34-27 home win to Toledo. Bulls gained 398 yards in that one, 153 rushing on 38 carries. Defensively, they did give up over 5 yards per rush to the Rockets with 240 passing on 48 attempts. They forced 6 turnovers and finished with a +5 turnover margin. Cole Snyder, 56% completion rate, 6.3 yards per attempt. This season, Snyder, 60% completions, 12 touchdowns, 5 picks, 7.1 yards per attempt. Ohio sits at 5-3 with their 24-17 home win in Northern Illinois. Bobcats posted 354 yards in that one, 154 rushing on 33 carries. On defense, the Bobcats allowed over 5 yards per rush with 110 passing, 8 on 18 attempts. Curtis Rourke, a max season low 54% completion rate in that game, 2 touchdowns, 7.7 yards per attempt. In MAC play, Rourke, 67% completions, 7 touchdowns, 1 pick, 9.6 yards per attempt. Bobcats have won all their home games this season. Bulls perfect 4-0 in the MAC with road wins at Eastern Michigan and Bowling Green. Ohio has covered 4 of 5 against Buffalo at home. Home team has covered 7 of 8 in this series. Bulls were greatly aided by Rockets' mistakes to win last week. Bobcats defense giving up 493 yards a game at home, and they're moving the football for 521 yards. Bulls on the road gaining 410 yards per game. The play here, Buffalo, Ohio, over 58.5. Iowa versus Purdue, college football pick Saturday. Iowa, they sit here at 4-4 with their 33-13 home win at Northwestern. Hawkeyes gained 393 yards in that one, 173 rushing on 36 attempts. Defensively, they held the Wildcats to about half a yard per rush with 159 passing yards on 30 attempts. Spencer Petras, a season-high 70% completion rate, 7.3 yards per attempt. I believe his name is Petrus. Season-to-date career lows here, 55% completion rate, 5.9 yards per attempt. Purdue, they fell to 5-3 with their 35-24 road win at Wisconsin. Boilermakers gained 431 yards in that one with 111 rushing yards on 33 carries. Defensively, they did allow 6 yards per carry to the Badgers, 203 passing yards on 21 attempts. Aiden O'Connell, 67% completions in the loss, 7 yards per attempt. He threw for a touchdown and a season-high 3 interceptions. This season, O'Connell, 66% completion rate, 7.2 yards per attempt. Just tough to back Iowa based on the performance of their offense, as they average only 248 yards a game. They give up 3 sacks per game and are very poor on third down. Play here will be Purdue minus 4.5. Kentucky versus Missouri, college football pick. This one is on Saturday. Kentucky fell to 5-3 with their 44-6 road defeat at Tennessee. Wildcats, a season low, 206 yards, 108 rushing on 35 carries. On defense, they allowed about 4.5 yards per rush with 245 passing on 25 attempts. Will Levis completed 59% of his passes in that one. 3 interceptions and a season low, 3.6 yards per attempt. On the year, Levis, 68% completion rate and a career high 9.1 yards per attempt. Missouri improved to 4-4 after their 23-10 road win at South Carolina. Tigers posted 390 yards, running for 166 on 39 attempts. Brady Cook, 65% completions in the win, 224 yards, 8.6 yards per attempt. Season-wide for Cook, 65% completion rate, 6 touchdowns, 7 picks, 7.5 yards per attempt. Wildcats have a road win at Florida, but dropped SEC games at Ole Miss and Tennessee. Tigers have gone under in 7 straight. Missouri is moving the football for 412 yards at home, going to buck the Tigers' trend as the number is just too low here. The play here will be Kentucky and Missouri under 43.5. Check that. That's Kentucky and Missouri over 43.5. Over. Feel the total here is too low in this number to take it over 43.5. Kentucky and Missouri, that's the pick. Texas Tech versus TCU, college football pick. This one goes off here on Saturday. Texas Tech fell to 4-4 after their 45-17 home defeat to Baylor. Red Raiders held to a season low 308 yards with 149 rushing on 36 carries. On defense, they allowed the Bears to under 4 yards per carry with 211 passing yards on 30 attempts. Tyler Shaw could start and has seen mop-up duty on the year. He went 1 of 2 with an interception. Baron Morton started last week, completed just 32%, a touchdown, 3 picks, and a season low 4.5 yards per attempt. On the season, 56% completion rate, 6 touchdowns, 6 picks, 6.6 yards per attempt. TCU 8-0 after their 41-31 road win at West Virginia. Horned Frogs posted 494 yards, 153 rushing on 27 carries. Defensively, they allowed just under 4 yards a carry with 275 passing yards on 39 attempts. Max Duggan, season low, 57% completions, but 341 yards in this one, passing and 12.2 yards per attempt. He threw for 3 touchdowns and an interception. This season, Duggan, a career high here, 67.4% completion rate, 10 yards per attempt. He has thrown for 22 touchdowns and 2 interceptions thus far, has this Max Duggan. So he's been putting together some pretty good work, no doubt here for TCU. And in this game, we will go ahead and lay the points here with TCU in this one. That's our pick, is TCU. Georgia Tech versus Virginia. College football pick for Saturday. Georgia Tech fell to 3-5 After their 41-16 road defeat at Florida State, Yellow Jackets gained only 264 yards, 66 rushing on 30 carries. Defensively, they allowed nearly 6 yards per rush with 396 passing on 39 attempts. Quarterback Jeff Sims questionable with an injured foot and missed the Florida State game. Career lows here, 58% completions, 5.9 yards per pass attempt. Zach Pyron saw work and completed 64% with 7 yards per attempt. Virginia Tech fell to 2-6 after their 22-21 road defeat at NC State. Hokies posted only 293 yards in this one, 50 rushing on 26 attempts. Defensively, they limited the Wolfpack ground attack to under 2 yards per carry and surrendered 296 passing yards on 43 attempts. Grant Wells, 50% completions, 243 passing, and a season high here, 11 yards per attempt. Virginia Tech has shown some offensive improvement in recent weeks, putting up 29 at Pittsburgh and 21 at NC State. Yellow Jackets quarterback situation, the issue here. The play here will be Virginia Tech minus 3.5. USF versus Temple college football pick Saturday. USF fell to 1-7 after their 42-27 road defeat at Houston. Bulls generated 429 yards with 154 rushing on 31 carries. On defense, they held the Cougars to 4 yards a carry but allowed 387 passing yards on 39 attempts. Starting quarterback Gary Bohannon out for the season. Travis Marsh, 70% completion rate, 275 yards passing, 8.1 yards per attempt. He saw action in mop-up duty this season, so season numbers here, 58%, a completion rate, 3 touchdowns, 7.9 yards per attempt. Temple fell to 2-6 after their 27-20 road overtime defeat at Navy. Owls gained 288 yards in this one, 20 rushing on 20 carries. Defensively, they allowed just 3 yards per carry, and Navy threw only 2 passes. Owls had a -2 turnover margin. E.J. Warner, 50% completions, 5.6 yards per attempt. He had a touchdown and 2 picks. Warner, a season-high 53% completion rate, 6 yards per attempt. Temple running for only 2.6 yards a carry. Bulls the better offense and gaining 5.1 yards a carry. Marsh impressive in his debut. Play here USF -3. Marshall versus Old Dominion college football pick. This one is on Saturday. Marshall sits at 4-4 after their 24-13 home defeat to Coastal Carolina. The Thundering Herd gained 407 yards with 87 rushing on 37 carries. On defense, the Thundering Herd allowed over 3 yards per carry with 121 passing on 24 attempts. Cam Fancher, 53% completion rate in the loss, 320 yards, 8.9 yards per attempt. On the air, Fancher, 55% completion rate, 6.5 yards per attempt. Old Dominion fell to 3-5 after their 31-17 road defeat to Georgia State. Monarchs gained only 283 yards with 26 rushing on 22 carries. On defense, they allowed over 3 yards per rush to the Panthers with 195 passing on 20 attempts. Hayden Wolf, 56% completion rate, 7.6 yards per attempt. He contributed with 2 touchdown passes and a pick. On the year, Wolf, 57% completion rate, 14 touchdowns, 3 picks, 7.5 yards per attempt. Thundering Herd defense holding teams at 282 yards and 2.7 yards per rush. ODU only 26% conversion rates on third down. Play here will be Marshall at -2.5. Georgia State versus Southern Miss college football pick. This one goes off here on Saturday. Georgia State improved to 3-5 after their 31-17 home win to Old Dominion. Panthers gained 413 yards, 218 rushing on 62 attempts. Defensively, they held the Monarchs to just over 1 yard per rush with 257 passing yards on 34 attempts. They committed 6 sacks. Darren Granger, season high 70% completions in the win, 9.8 yards per attempt. Granger on the year, 55% completion rate, 7.7 yards per attempt. Southern Miss moves to 5-3, a 39-24 home win to Louisiana. Golden Eagles gained 339 yards in that one, 150 rushing on 48 carries. Defensively, they limited the Raging Cajuns' run game and allowed 370 passing yards on 47 attempts. Now, Zach Wilkie, a season low, 47% completion rate, 8.1 yards per attempt. He did pass for 2 touchdowns and a pick. On the year, Wilkie, 59% completions, 9 touchdowns, 9 picks, 6.7 yards per attempt. Golden Eagles have won 3 straight and 5 of 6. Past 3 games, Southern Miss allowing 322 yards, just 1.8 yards to carry on the ground. Panthers giving up 3 sacks a game, and Southern Miss averaging nearly 4 sacks per contest. Play here, Southern Miss -2. Baylor versus Oklahoma college football pick. This one goes off here on Saturday, Baylor improved to 5-3 with their 45-17 road win at Texas Tech. Bears produced 442 yards in this one, 231 rushing on 59 carries. On defense, Baylor gave up just over 4 yards a carry with 159 passing yards on 38 attempts. Bears picked off 5 passes in this one and had a +4 turnover margin. Blake Shapen completed 63% of his passes in the win with 7 yards per pass attempt. He had 211 yards passing and a touchdown on the season. Shapen, 67% completion rate, 8.3 yards per attempt. Oklahoma, they improved to 5-3 after their 27-13 road win at Iowa State. Sooners gained a season-low 332 yards, 182 rushing on 47 carries. On defense, they held the Cyclones to under 3 yards a carry with 308 passing yards on 57 attempts. Dylan Gabriel completed 58% with a season-low 5.7 yards per attempt. Gabriel threw for 148 yards and a touchdown. This season, Gabriel, the transfer from UCF, 64% completion rate, 14 touchdowns, 1 pick, 8.8 yards per attempt. At home, though, the Sooners are averaging 543 yards, 5.5 yards per rush, 315 passing with 9.5 yards per attempt. Bears are moving the football through the air and on the road here, 252 yards passing, 8.3 yards per attempt. The play here, Oklahoma and Baylor over 57.5. That was our college football pick show here for Tuesday. We got you 10 games. We're going to get all 60 here in 6 parts. So this was part 2 of our 6-part series from college football for this week to get all of the 60 FBS versus FBS games in for you guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, set notifications. Remember to visit Tony'sPicks.com here for our best bets on the board. Click the link in the description below to get there. And don't forget about our podcast. If you don't miss a pick, you can get every pick in podcast form at Tony's Picks. That's our podcast. Search it there on all major platforms and subscribe and check it out. All right, that's going to do it. We'll be back